So the first one goes like this. Say, for example, there's a song or a film that has entered public domain. It can be subjected to free use by anybody along with its underlying works without any permissions being required to be sought for such usage. Is that right?
Well, Ritisha, that is a myth. Let me start by first explaining what public domain works are.
Right.
So, a work falls in public domain when it is not protected by copyright, which could be either if the copyright protection over it is over, where
Right.
it expires, or where the owner himself or herself relinquishes their copyright.
Right.
Right. So, which is under Section 21 of the Copyright Act.
Correct.
Now, the Copyright Act provides different term of protection for underlying works, which is your literary, musical, dramatic, and artistic works,
Okay.
which is 60 years following the year after the death of the author.
Right.
With respect to sound recordings and films, it is 60 years the year after the release or the publication.
Right.
So there are different terms of protection for both underlying works and for film or sound recording. Now, it's a common myth that if the song or the film comes into public domain, then automatically the underlying works also come into public domain.
Right. Right.
I'll give you an example. One of my favorite tracks, 𝐲𝐻𝐻𝐸 from the film 𝐓𝐴LBELA. The film and the songs therein, they released in the year 1951. But the authors, of course, they passed away much later. So
Correct.
the underlying works are still not in public domain. They will be coming in public domain depending upon 60 years from the death of the respective lyricist and the music composer.
Right.
I assume it's around 2048 or 63, right?
Okay.
And so while the song, the sound recording itself is in the public domain, if today somebody wants to synchronize it in their film, or wants to make a remix or a recreation, they will need to go and procure adequate licenses from the owner of those underlying works.
Right.
We had seen that example in the film Ludo, which had released a couple of years back on Netflix, and like I'm assuming that they would have had to take the appropriate licenses from the publishing rights owner. So even for the script, right? So the script is not yet in public domain of the same film. Till the time it doesn't enter the public domain, they would require, like for any adaptation to be made, like a remake of that film,
Right.
separate licenses would be required to be procured. So so in summary, the underlying works do not come in the public domain at the same time as the sound recording and the films. It would depend upon the term of expiry of the copyright therein. And it's important to also highlight Section 52(1)(y) of the
Okay.
Copyright Act. So Section 52(1)(y), it refers to cinematograph films and the usage of underlying works therein falling in public domain. Like you can utilize the underlying works if the film comes into public domain. But the section does not give a reference of sound recordings, interestingly.
Oh.
So,
Fun to note.
yeah, so in a sense, individual components like your scripts, dialogues, compositions, and lyrics, they may still be protected, requiring permissions for their adaptations.
Oh, wonderful. That's really enlightening to know.